Okay, let's take a look at this. This is worksheet 4.2. On this first problem right here, students are asked to find the terms, like terms, coefficient, and constant. So as I go through this, I'm kind of going to define these along the way. So in this here, the terms are m, 3m, and 8. Okay, so that's all we put down. m, 3m, and 8 for our terms. Okay, like terms are the terms we can put together. So they're going to be terms that have the same variables, and they're going to be like constants. Like 8 is a constant, so if there was another integer, you could combine those. Those would be considered a like term as well. So m in this case and 3m are like terms. Those could be combined to make 4m in this case, because this is like 1m plus 3m, which would be 4m. The coefficients are the numbers that are with the variables, okay? And the tricky part to this one is there's actually a number with the variable. So every variable is going to have a coefficient. Okay, so here the coefficient is actually 1 because there would be a 1 there even though it's not in. Okay, here it's obviously 3, so our coefficients are 1 and 3. And our constant is 8. Now a constant is not going to change within algebraic expression. Okay, these could change depending on what the variable m is, or the constant. There's nothing that's going to change the constant. So there would be the answer to number 3 off of worksheet 4.2. Okay, here's another one. This is number 9. Now the tricky part to this one is we have subtraction. We want to make it all addition before we pick out the terms, the like terms, the coefficients, and the constant. So the first step I'm going to do is I'm going to add the opposite. And that's something we've been doing all along. That should not be real confusing at this point. Okay, now let's pick out the terms. So we start right here, 12a, 3b, 18, and negative 9a. You can see the importance of adding the opposite here. That makes it negative 9a for this term. Okay, if you forget to add the opposite, you're probably going to put 9a there and you're going to have it incorrect. Okay, our like terms now. So we're looking for terms that have the same variables. Okay, so 12a and negative 9a. Those are like terms. Okay, there's no other like terms in this expression. Coefficients, numbers now that are with the variable or before the variable. Anytime you got a variable, you have a coefficient. That's a good way to think about that. Here's a variable, here's a coefficient, 12. Okay, here's a variable, here's my coefficient, 3. Okay, here's a variable, here's my coefficient, negative 9. Okay, and then the constant, one constant in this problem, which is 18. Remember, a constant will not have a variable with it. Okay. Now, here is another problem that we're going to look at. This one deals with combining like terms and simplifying an algebraic expression. Okay, so what we need to do first is to add the opposite. We want to get rid of all subtraction and make it addition. Okay, so the first step I'm going to do is add the opposite, add the opposite. Okay, now I can go ahead and put like terms together. I'm going to start here with 5h. 5h plus 1h, this is like 1h, is 6h. Okay, and I'm going to keep on going. Here's a negative 4h. So that's going to be, if I have plus negative 4h here, that's going to be negative, I'm sorry, not negative, it's going to be 2h. Let me erase that negative. Okay, so this is going to come out to 2h right here because 6 plus negative 4 is positive 2. And I have a little more here. Now I have plus negative 2h down here. Now 2h plus negative 2h is 0h, okay, which is nothing. Okay, so these actually cancel one another out. Alright, so I took care of my h's. There's nothing there. Now I'm going to look back through. Is there any other thing left of this problem? Well, there is. Okay, here is a constant 1, and that's going to be my answer then. So my answer to this problem is 1. That's the only thing left. The h's cancel one another out. There's nothing left with those. So number 11, answer is 1. Okay, here's number 24. a little more difficult problem because we have a set of parentheses. All right, so what I want to do first is add the opposite. That's the first step when you're solving these. Make sure you do that. Okay, now our next step here is to get rid of the parentheses. So we got to go multiplication, multiplication. Okay, so I end up now with negative 8 times v is negative 8v. Bring my addition sign down. Negative 8 times 3 is negative 24. Now I want to fill in everything else here yet. Plus 3, plus 7v, and down here I still have 21 here. So I brought everything down. I've removed my set of parentheses. You know, and that's an important step. You know, don't try to combine too many steps at one time. You're going to make mistakes if you do. Okay, so now I have it all addition. I'm going to go back now and combine like terms. Okay, and what I'll do here is I'll start with my 21. Okay, 21 plus negative 24 is going to be negative 3, and negative 3 plus 3 is 0. So I have nothing. When I add these up here, they cancel one another out. There's nothing left there. So now if I work off of my variables here, negative 8v and 7v are like terms. I can put those together. They come out to negative 1v. Okay, now that's it. However, we want to express this answer in even a more simplified form. We don't need that 1 here. Negative 1v is equal to negative v. The 1 has no value, so this is the best answer for that one, negative v. Okay, let's take a look now at number 30. Okay, a little more even going on here. So the first step, add the opposite, add the opposite, add the opposite, add the opposite. So certainly some tricky spots here now when I go ahead to remove parentheses down on the end here. Okay, I have to multiply and multiply. Okay, so negative 2 times 7 is negative 14. Bring my addition sign down. Negative 2 times negative k. Well, that negative k is like negative 1k. So if you want to put a 1 in there to help you, that's certainly appropriate. Negative 2 times negative 1, and negative times a negative is a positive. So that actually comes out to positive 2k. So certainly tricky with that. Now let's fill the rest in here. I'm bringing everything down now here. 1 plus 9k, that's a negative, plus 5. Now just make sure that I'm checking to make sure I transferred things down correctly, because if you make any one mistake, you're going to get the answer wrong. So it's real careful, or real important to be real careful. Now I got to combine my like terms, and generally when you're combining like terms, you start on the left side of the problem. Start with your variables. Okay, here I have a variable. This is what I'm going to start with. Negative 9k. I'm looking for like terms. Okay, here's another like term. This is a k here. It's not a very nice k, but it is a k. This is like 1k. This is like 2k. Okay, I can add those together to make 3k. So I got negative 9k plus 3k, which is going to be negative 6k. All right? So that takes care of these right here. If you want to cross them out, you know, on these longer problems, sometimes once you combine like terms, if you want to X them out, might not be a bad thing, so you make sure you cover them all. Okay, now, the next I have are some constants here. I got 5, 1, and a negative 14, so I got to put those together. 5 and 1 is 6, and then 6 plus negative 14 is negative 8. Okay, now, you know, we can think of it this way, so it's plus a negative 8. However, this is not in simplified form. We learned this earlier. Adding negative 8 is the same as subtracting 8, and that's a better way to write this problem, a more simplified way. Okay, so, you know, even though this top answer is pretty decent, this is the better answer. Negative 6k minus 8 for number 30. Okay, you know, on these problems, make sure you take your time. Notice that I wrote out quite a bit of stuff. The more you write out, the less likely you are to make mistakes. Don't try to combine too many steps. Okay, good luck.